Hello and welcome to the Athlete Profile Show with me, Chris Stafford. This is the show where we get to know an athlete and what makes them special. And on this episode, my guest is Oklahoma native Camille Herron, who spends her life breaking records in ultra-distance running. So it may not have come as a surprise to her followers when she recently broke her own women's world record in the Jackpot 100 U.S. Championships in Las Vegas, Nevada. That she won in 12 hours, 41 minutes and 11 seconds, averaging around 7.37 minutes per mile, was impressive enough. But this was only the second time a woman had won the race, and Trason was the first to do it, winning the 1989 US 24-hour championship. But Camille completed in 2022 almost a minute and a half faster than her previous record in 2017. Camille is the first and only athlete to win all three of the International Association of Ultrarunners 50K, 100K, and 24-hour World Championships. She says winning the 2017 Comrades Marathon was the highlight of her career, of which she is most proud. She's the first and only woman to run under 13 hours for 100 miles, exceed 150 kilometers for 12 hours, and to reach 270 kilometers for 24 hours. And there are a string of other records to her name. From surviving the 1999 Oklahoma tornado when her family lost their home to overcoming multiple injuries, her cheerful and positive outlook has carried her through. And we can expect many more records as she fine-tunes her preparation and lifestyle in pursuit of her goals, laying down the challenge for future generations of women in the sport. Camille, welcome to the program and a huge congratulations. Has it all settled in now? I mean, obviously you're a woman who breaks records for a living, aren't you? But how about this one?
Yeah, it's just been over 2 weeks now since the Jackpot 100 U.S. Championship. And it seems like every day that passes, I keep finding out more interesting women's running history about what I did. So yeah, it's really cool. And, I'm really grateful for my ability and just be able to raise the bar on what women can do.
You certainly are doing that every step of the way. But how are you after, as you said, it's 2 weeks now since that big race? How do you feel physically?
I'm feeling great. I would say that the week after running 100 miles, you want to eat everything in sight. So I was having lots of hamburgers and tacos and lots of sleep. And so now we're at like just over 2 weeks since the race, and I'm getting my mileage back up and even thinking about doing a workout this week. So we'll see how the body's feeling.
I was going to ask that too. So what kind of rest do you give your body, Camille, or do you just listen to it and decide when it's time to come back and get back on the schedule again and get the training going? Does it differ from after each race?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I feel like every race is a bit different. One of my friends told me that whenever you win a race, that you tend to recover faster because you have so many positive vibes going. So yeah, I feel like I just kind of treat each race as its own race and take it a day at a time with how I'm feeling. And I'm really fortunate that I came out of this race not injured. So, I mean, going these really long distances, takes a toll on the body. And I really came out of it feeling great. But yeah, just trying to get enough sleep and energy and get myself back moving. I'm thinking about getting back into some speed work this week just to shake out the legs. So
what is that, if you will, decompression protocol for you? What do you have to do to your body after a race to make yourself feel good and obviously prevent any stiffness and injury that might occur afterwards?
Yeah, so we have these recovery boots that you put on your legs, and sure. Those are really nice. They're like, I guess, pneumatic compression. So I was using those for a couple days and trying to get out for some light walks. And fortunately, we got an ice storm the week after the 100 miles. So that kind of forced me to hibernate for a few days. And yeah, I got on the treadmill and started back running on the treadmill, and then I was able to get outside. And I've been getting on the trails the past week quite a bit. it and just kind of enjoying my runs, going really easy. An easy pace for me is about 8:30, 9-minute mile pace. So I'm going pretty easy and just trying to take it a day at a time. I like to eat all the food. Fortunately, being an ultra runner, we can eat all the food we want pretty much. So my husband and I have cut out alcohol since last July. So I was, even being in Vegas, I was trying not to celebrate too much after the race. I think maybe it was like a couple days after the race, I had my first celebratory beer. So that was pretty nice.
Yeah, you got to have something, right? Because you're a woman that will knock a beer back when you're actually running.
I do. I would say going these, for me, going these shorter distances, 100 miles is kind of short and fast. But yeah, I was trying to, save time during the race and not have any major stops. And since we've cut out alcohol, the only stop I had during the race was for 15 seconds to chug a non-alcoholic beer. So it was just something, I needed a refreshment beyond taking gels and water and sports drink. And that non-alcoholic beer really hit the spot about 70 miles in. So
yeah, I bet it did too. Now, what about your pre-race procedures, Camille?
Yeah.
Do you have something now that you just habitually do that works for you, or does it change with each race and of course the climate you're running in?
Yeah. So training for 100 miles in Vegas in February, the conditions are a bit warmer than most other places this time of year. So I was doing a lot of heat training. We actually lived in Arizona and we just moved back to Oklahoma here a few weeks ago, and so I was training at midday in Arizona, and then moving back to Oklahoma, I was putting layers on to try and prepare really well for the heat. And then going into the race, I'm not somebody that tapers a lot for races. I don't feel as good if I cut back too much. So I'm trying to cut back the duration of my runs, but keep up the frequency and speed work. It's really more of like a 2-day taper that I do for races, and just cutting back the duration of runs and then carb loading, like any endurance athlete does, trying to store the glycogen. And I'm such a chill person. I mean, we're listening to pump up music, watching TV and movies. I'm like dancing the night before races. So
you're taking this literally all in your stride these days then. So what does this record and with each race you do, you seem to be breaking records. It seems to have been a habit in your career, Camille. What do they mean to you at this point, though, in your career? Now you're 40, you've done so much. Yeah. What is it that motivates you now? Is it the record? Is it self-satisfaction that you've peaked in your training?
Yeah, I feel like I've kind of been a bit rejuvenated since I turned 40 in December. I feel like it's kind of extra motivation to keep my running career going. Just trying to do more of the little things. I mean, you read about masters women, really getting on top of their diet and their sleep and, PT and all that. And I feel like that I've tried to almost reinvent myself the past year, getting more dialed in with things. And, I found out like last year that I had this iron overload issue that I've had to work with a dietitian on, resolving. Also bought a squat rack. I've been trying to sleep better. Turning 40, I mean, I feel like it's this, I've obviously broken a lot of records, but I feel like there's a bit added motivation with all these masters records too. And, you see women masters marathoners as well, like just crushing it on the roads. And it's made me wonder, I'm feeling really, really good right now and wondering, could I step back down to the marathon? Like, I make the Olympic marathon trials again. I feel like at this point in my career, like, I'm still setting personal bests. And that's exciting. I hope, that's inspiring to other women out there to keep it going.
Well, for sure. As you say, now you're in the master's program. It's almost like having a second career, isn't it?
It is.
Because then records are all new records now that you can keep breaking.
Yeah.
And is it that sort of psychological for you, though, the 40 mark?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I look back at what I did like 10, 15 years ago in my 20s, and it seemed like, I was just like Rocky Balboa, like really, gutting it out, like, just eating whatever, like, just doing things that, differently. And now I'm just trying to get more dialed in, as a master's runner. And I feel better, I feel better. I feel like I don't have to be Rocky Balboa every day. If I just want to feel good every day. I want to run for my life. I have a different perspective that I see running as more of, it makes me feel good. I'm not just out there competing every day, that I just want to be able to run for my life and to feel good, keep my body together, and just take better care of myself. I'm, fortunate to have my husband. My husband does all the cooking. And so we're, he's pretty great.
You got this thoroughly worked out, haven't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. He's quite the gym. So yeah, we're pretty dialed in, just trying to have better dietary habits and sleep. And, I can't be staying up till 2 a.m. in the morning anymore, like going out to the bar or something, it's like, I gotta be pretty dialed in. So
you're leaving that in your rearview mirror now.
Yeah.
That lifestyle.
Yeah, definitely.
So what means the most to you now of what you've achieved so far before we now start on your master's career in your first life?
Yeah, I think what means the most to me is just how I've persevered through so many challenges in my life. It seems like every time I've had some sort of major win in my career or, major feat, that I had to overcome challenges leading up to doing that. It wasn't, some sort of smooth line to the top. I would say my proudest achievement was my win at the Comrades Marathon. I actually tore my MCL in a muddy trail race 10 weeks before that race. And when I found out, what I had done to my knee, I mean, it was like my leg was like dangling in the race, and I knew I'd done something really, really bad. And I knew, like, oh my gosh, this could be a potentially career-ending injury. And I only had 10 weeks to Comrades, and it felt like I had to do everything right to get my knee healthy to go on and even, start the race. And my husband actually had a dream during that buildup that I won Comrades. And during the time, I was still recovering from my knee injury, and I just thought it seemed impossible. And so, I can reflect back on that, if he hadn't had that dream, I don't know if I could have done what I did. Like, I felt like I believed his dream. I believed it was my destiny to go on to, push through this knee injury and go on to win that race. And, I can reflect back and be like, that was the hardest race buildup I've ever had. Like, it just seemed impossible. And, I feel like, knowing what I did for that buildup, gives me the confidence to, overcome other challenges throughout my career. So.
Yeah, I obviously inspire you in some way and give you that, renew your confidence for sure when you overcome these kind of challenges. So the body is feeling good right now.
Yeah.
Injuries are in the rearview mirror. You're feeling in good shape now for what comes next.
Yeah. It's, I gotta, when you're on the top in the sport and your body feels good, I mean, you gotta embrace that, because I could just as well, slip off a curb tomorrow and be injured again or something. I'm trying to, just take it a day at a time and be grateful that I get out there and feel good. And, just try to, figure out what the next goal is. So.
What is the next goal?
Well, I think my husband just registered me for the next race while I was out for my run this morning. At the beginning of my ultra career, I was running like 50 miles and 100K races, and my personal best at those distances are like almost 7 years old, and so I'm gonna actually step down in distance and see if I can to run world records at 50 miles in 6 hours and improve my 100K personal best. So Connor just signed me up for a race in the UK called the Centurion 100. And they have a 100-miler on a track as well as a 100K race en route. So yeah, I'm gonna have to work on my leg speed a bit here the next 2 months. Yeah.
When and where is that then in the UK, Camille?
Yeah, I can't think of where it's located in the UK. What's that? Bedford. He says Bedford.
Very close to London.
Okay. Yeah. So it should be able to fly in there and, get an Airbnb near the site. And, we've got family over in Ireland as well. So probably get to go visit some family and, just make a good trip of it.
Well, obviously, you're going to break a lot more records to come, but I want to just rewind a little bit, Camille, for anyone that's listening to this or hasn't heard about your life story, because, as you say, you've overcome a few adversities, not just with injuries, but after the Oklahoma tornadoes, of course, that wiped your family home out when you were just a teenager. Yeah. What were your earliest memories before that of your life as a young woman growing up in Oklahoma?
Yeah, so I feel like my life could be a movie with a tornado in it. It's pretty crazy. So growing up in Oklahoma, as a little girl, we lived out in the country and we had all this land and these wheat fields by our house. And so my earliest memories of running was around the wheat fields, chasing the wildlife. I was a kid that just loved to be outside. Like I was outside all the time. And I just remember, seeing snakes and rabbits and birds and grasshoppers and, I loved being outside. And, my dad and my grandpa were both basketball players at Oklahoma State. And then my grandpa was a veteran of World War II. He had 2 Purple Hearts. He was a sharpshooter Marine. And so, I grew up with these like big, tall, military guys in my family, telling these stories of, I played basketball without water for 6 hours, and so I was very athletic and outdoorsy as a kid, and I wanted to be like my dad and my grandpa. And so, I'm tall, I'm like long arms and legs. And then my mom was a swimmer. So I probably got my endurance from my mom. But she came before Title IX. So unfortunately she didn't get to go on and compete in college or, maybe even professionally. I mean, she was a really good golfer and swimmer and did sports, but I kind of got the best of both parents. So, when I grew up playing sports, I just had natural endurance and, played outside all the time. I had 3 siblings and we always played together. I went out for, the turning point for me was in junior high. We had to go out for a track for off-season conditioning for basketball. And like from the first day, I could just run and run and run. Like, I think just from my lifetime as a kid, just being outside, had built up natural endurance. And it was just pretty evident from that first day. I had this endurance. And then I went out for cross country in the 8th grade, for off season. And, from that first day and my first race, I knew like cross country was my sport because it reminded me of being that kid out in the wheat fields, running around, chasing whatever. So I think I just had that competitive instinct from a young age, just chasing animals. That, when I started doing it competitively, it was just such a natural thing to me. So.
did you do any other sports? I'm wondering also if you rode horses, if you lived in.
My mom used to ride horses when she was a girl, and I think she got thrown off a horse, so she was kind of against us learning to ride horses. But yeah, I did a lot of sports. I learned how to play golf. Both my parents were golfers, and basketball, softball. I did like roller hockey, rollerblading, riding my bike. I mean, I was just somebody that did a lot of sports, but yeah, running, I think running was the one that really stuck with me. And it was, I was a point guard on the basketball team. And so, yeah, I obviously did the most running on the court. But yeah, when I, went out for track I remember when I went out for my first track race, actually it was my second track race because I was so used to playing like defense on the basketball court that I remember a girl was trying to pass me and I started blocking her. and after I think I beat her, but her coach came up to me after the race and, chewed me out. I was like, that's bad sportsmanship. So like ever since then, I mean, I've been a very polite runner. Like I'm just like very encouraging and positive, but yeah, the basketball player in me didn't know at first, what is track about? You're not supposed to block the other runners. So
you did not want to get a reputation for that, right?
No, definitely not.
But as well as your athletic career, Camille, you also trained in exercise and sports science too. Mm-hmm. You have an interest in the health sciences field. Where is that now? Do you have any intention to go back to that now? Because obviously this is your career right at the moment.
Yeah. So yeah, I have my bachelor's and master's in exercise and sports science. And when I was a young runner, so I grew 9 inches in high school. I actually got my height like after I had quit basketball and was just running, full on running. And I had a lot of injuries. Like boys at that age get Osgood Schlatter's in their knees. And so I had a lot of knee pain. I had stress fractures. And yeah, I mean, it was just like my body just needed more time to grow into my body. And so that really kind of piqued my interest in studying bone as an undergrad. And I ended up going to grad school and studied bone and exercise. And I got my master's in exercise and sports science. And then I worked in research up until 2019. I worked in bone research doing bone imaging. And so, yeah, it was back in 2015 is when in my mid 30s, when I committed to the ultra running and like discovered this, amazing talent that I have. And yeah, for a couple of years, I tried to balance my research career with the running. But I was involved in a rollover car accident back in 2019 while I was driving to work. And it was a bit of a spiritual moment at the time that I felt like I needed to appreciate my life and this running ability that I have. And I felt kind of at peace that I decided to quit my day job and research and fully commit to the running. But yeah, I mean, I think about what I learned, as a researcher, that I've been able to apply my science knowledge a lot to develop my own training philosophy. And I think that's played a part to how I've gotten to where I am and, being able to work through injuries and understand the body better. So.
Do you see yourself going back to that field, though, Camille, at any point in your master's career?
I feel like I'm willing to be like, okay, that was the end of one chapter. I've moved on to another chapter in my life, and I don't really know what the future holds. I mean, I could always go back into research. I mean, I love science. I'm definitely that's like my forte. That's like what I thought I would do for my life. So this whole ultra running thing, just kind of came out of nowhere. I could see myself being being involved in the sport. Like, if I worked in the industry or, I enjoy motivational speaking as well. I speak to a lot of groups and do that sort of thing. And then I also coach with my husband. And I know that there's a real need for women in leadership positions in the sport. So I see myself as being like some type of leader in something. And I just want to be a positive force for other women athletes.
And obviously you are just that, Camille, obviously what you've been doing. Well, clearly. And I'm curious, though, in the course of your career, have you seen a different attitude from women and from men towards endurance athletes, female endurance athletes, and what that climate looks like now?
Oh, yeah. I feel like women have more of a voice now to really speak their minds and, have a platform. I felt like when I first got into the sport that people didn't know who I was. They're like, what is this lady doing up there with the top men? And I felt like less encouraged, like 5-7 years ago, and that people didn't know who I was. They didn't know to, expect me up there. But now, like, it's kind of shifted. Like now, like, I feel like I'm being cheered on more, that people expect me to be up with the top men. Like, and so I think it's definitely changed. Me, winning races outright. There's other women winning races outright. And I think it's made other women think that, okay, well, maybe we belong up there. Maybe we can elevate our game. And so, yeah, I think that, what you see in races is more women up front or, moving throughout a race, possibly winning outright. And then you also see on social media women, speaking their minds more, speaking about the things that, impact them. And it's kind of giving more confidence to other women to speak out and to use their voice.
And just going back to the health side of things, or physiologically, we're learning a lot more about women's capabilities over ultra distances too, with slow twitch muscles.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of theories and, science behind it. And I definitely felt that the past couple of races that I've run, and that, I've actually been holding back a bit more early in the race and kind of using like my woman power to endure better and possibly catch them in, later in races. And it might have something to do with estrogen, the preservation, our muscles. We seem to endure better, the longer the distance. And so, I've kind of been tapping more into that and not going out as aggressively in races. And, it's worked out really well for me.
It sure has. Have you seen more women then coming in, coming up to you at races, and have been watching you, not participating, but spectators, and young girls that are inspired by you? Are they viewing this more of a career, not just training for a marathon or training for for a place on the Olympic team, but to do ultra running as you do it as a single-minded pursuit?
Yeah, definitely. It's really cool. I love it when people share those types of stories with me of, their kids being inspired. My nephew, since he saw the video of me breaking through the finish line tape, he's been putting up a finish line tape in his house and breaking through it. So it's not just, girls. I would say boys are even, inspired by that. I've got another friend that has a Camille doll.
Oh, how
she
cute.
has a Camille doll that has like long hair, and she's like dressed in a tracksuit. I love that. Maybe I need to have a Camille doll made of me, to like sell on my website or something. I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah. So I have a certain look to me that this is just the way I run with my hair down. Like, I have a pretty funny running style. I'm like the way I look and the way I run, it's actually inspired a lot of people, to run with their hair down. Like, I feel like, it means a lot to me knowing that I'm not just pursuing my own personal goals and, that I have for myself, that I have a greater purpose. I'm able to bring a lot of inspiration to other people.
Well, I know you somewhere wrote how Trason, of course, was the first woman to win that race you've just won, and she inspired you. She was a source of inspiration for you when you were younger.
Yeah. So when I first got into ultra running and ran my first 100K and I was actually driving to work on a Monday, and the race director called me and said, "Hey, do you realize you broke this record by Trason?" So when I got to work, I had to Google Trason, and I realized, like, oh my gosh, Trason, like, wow, I can't believe I did that. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of the impetus and the inspiration where I learned about all these, American world records that she had set. And it was kind of like this light bulb moment, of like, oh my gosh, maybe I should do this. But yeah, I mean, she did so many things in her career, and, she was doing it at a time when there weren't that many people. There weren't as many athletes. There weren't as many women in the sport, and she was just putting it out there. So, I mean, just the courage to do that, 30 plus years ago is really amazing. And yeah, I mean, it's really cool that, there's so many women now that, I mean, it's a big deal to break an Trason record. And, yeah, and I mean, it's making other women, come into the sport being like, hey, all these marathoners coming in and being like, I want to do that. And I mean, yeah, I was a marathoner at one time, and getting into ultra running was a cool thing, and knowing what Trason did. So.
Have you reached out to her, or she reached out to you? Have you guys connected at all to compare notes?
Yeah. So, I think she's kind of been a bit quiet lately, but, we've got each other's phone numbers, and, I think she might be off Facebook right now, but yeah, we've exchanged messages before, and, yeah, I'd love to see her again, cause I think she's kind of been a bit quiet the past few years. And, but yeah, she's a really funny person. I've listened to a couple of her podcasts, and she's quite a character. So.
Well, obviously we all need inspiration from somewhere, and you're now the inspiration for young girls in the future and other women.
Well, thank you.
That are doing this, Camille. So if you look back on your career at some point, what do you think now, having achieved what you've achieved, you would like to be remembered for, given that you've now started your second career?
Probably that I ran happy.
Okay.
I ran happy. I mean, I'm a person that I just find so much joy in what I do. And, I'm grateful for what I can do. And, I just run with a smile on my face. I enjoy being out there, and I want people to know that running, it's a lot, ultra running is a lot of pain and suffering, but you can also enjoy that, and, what your body can do, and, embrace that. So yeah, I just want to be remembered for running happy, and, that I did it my way, and, didn't really set limits on myself. So, yeah, I hope I can inspire more people to push their own human limits.
I love that. Tacos and beer and whatever it takes to enjoy it. Now, every time I watch you run, Camille, I'm going to think of that song, Happy. I'm going to be playing that.
That's right. There you go.
Well, it's been great to catch up with you, Camille, and hear a little bit about your story. And obviously lots more to come. We're only halfway through now, aren't we? Because you're now on your second career as a masters athlete. Going to England, of course, will be a fun adventure in of itself. You've competed in so many countries around the world. Do you have a favorite?
Oh gosh, I feel like every country has been special in its own way. I really like South Africa. They have a special place in my heart because that's where the Comrades Marathon is. And it feels like when you go do Comrades, I mean, it feels like the whole world is coming together for that race. So yeah, it's pretty special that to go visit South Africa, and and they really love their road ultra running.
Yeah, they sure do. Well, hopefully the world is going to open up to you now after the pandemic, so you can go and break more records around the world, Camille. But for now, thank you so much for taking time to come on the podcast, and we want to wish you the very, very best of luck with whatever comes next down the road. Thank you. I appreciate it. And you'll find the links to Camille's social media and her website by visiting our website at wispsports.com. Just click on the Listen tab to drop down to the Athlete Profile Show. And as always, you can find us on social media at Wisp Sports. We always love to hear from you, so do post your comments, questions, or suggestions for guests. And whilst you're in your podcast app, we always appreciate a review or a rating because that helps others find the show. I'm Chris Stafford, and until the next time, thank you for listening.